What I'd like to do today is take a look at all three of Cheyenne's former Kmarts and see what they look like today. Right now we are at the first location that has since been turned into the Jonah Business Center. We will be checking out the other two. We'll check them out chronologically. So let's go ahead and take a look, shall we? So here's a look at the Jonah Business Center sign. Looks like the I is unfortunately missing in business right now, so it says Busness, but that's okay. As you can see, there is available space. I believe this is who you'd need to contact for that. This is more of an office building these days. As I talked about in the Kmart documentary, this was Jesus Christ. As I talked about in the Kmart documentary, this was the headquarters for SafeCard for a while. So of course it makes sense that they kind of went for a corporate vibe with that. I do believe that with that, they changed the parking lot. It was totally different over here than what it is now. Although what is now is still kind of a tease into, I guess you could say, because of kind of the weird design that definitely discourages through traffic, which don't get me wrong, that's a good thing. Too many people cut through parking lots, especially in cars. It's like, come on. Either way, you can see that the front has all been replaced with all this glass. Like it's nothing like it used to be. But we'll get there. There is a little bit of remnant here. So here's the walkway up to the front of the building, and right here is one of the teases. I feel fairly confident in saying this street lamp right here, as well as that one back over there, are probably from the Kmart. Probably. They definitely have that older look to them. And of course, they're over here in a field that didn't used to be a field. So over here on this side would have been the auto center along with the garden center. There would have been a whole parking lot here, at least from what I could tell based on the satellite imagery. And that is not the case anymore. You can see that lots of trees have been planted. They're really tall. One thing I love is how there's this sign right here that used to say no parking anytime. You can kind of still see the scarring of what it said, but it definitely is faded and is really, really old. So this is the side of the building that's probably gonna look the most like Kmart. Over here, obviously they have the glass thing going on, but over this way, maybe I'll lift you guys over the fence here. That is definitely the most screaming thing. And it's really, really subtle because lots of places use cinder block. And lots of places also have downspouts along the back side of their building, which you can probably see if I do this. So what happened was that this store, there were two stores in this building. There's one that's Kmart, obviously, but the other one was Pay and Pack. And the Pay and Pack actually only occupied like this portion of the building roughly. This portion over here, especially that silver bit there, that's where they added on. All right, so now we're over here, just a little bit farther along. This portion of the building, as I was saying, was the part that was added on, and from what I could tell, it was an add-on that was added during the SafeCard stuff. So around 1994, I believe, is when they built this part on. And this part has pretty much always been offices, if not always. In most recent times, it's been an all-state call center. I'll show you the label scar right over here in a minute. But right now, obviously, I believe it is vacant. I'm not certain, but I believe it is vacant. So right here, you can see the Allstate sign, and you probably can see the label scar coming out over here off of Pine and Omaha, where it kind of turns into homes. Interesting thing about Omaha is that, from what I can tell, it used to go just straight out to Pershing. It didn't used to connect up with Ridge and Holmes like it does now. It looked like it had kind of a weird curvy bit with the Kmart parking lot. Not sure what that was about, I'll be honest. I do like the aesthetics, though, of the silver building. It's kind of different. Looks like some of the windows there are kind of yellowed a little bit. You have set up a patio over here. You can see the tables. And I think there are photos online of this place inside. So maybe I'll see if I can pop those up on screen so you can kind of get a tease of what it looks like. Looks nothing like Kmart. And I guess the last thing that we can talk about is this right here. So this is actually technically Grove Drive. It's not really marked, but if you go onto the property assessor site, it'll call it Grove Drive. The bus stop that's right here on this side of the road even calls this Grove Drive. So yeah, Grove Drive continues on that way on the other side of the stadium area over here, which by the way, that stoplight and all that stadium and the school, that never used to be there. Overall, I do like the aesthetic of the building, considering it is more of a corporate look. So the good thing is that for a little while now, the city buses have been back in operation, and they got free fares. So, you know, it's probably being paid through tax dollars versus having to pay when you get on the bus, which is frankly a lot easier. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the bus to the other 2 locations. About a minute to spare. It picks up at 14 after, and it's about 12 after right now, just almost 13. Must be running a little bit behind because I definitely have not seen the bus go by yet. And there it is. Hi. All right, have to switch buses. All right, we gotta walk about 3 blocks and go from there. And they got a stop over here. This is the other direction, 12 after the hour. And this is the one I'm hoping to catch, so I'm gonna have to see what I can do. I don't know if I'll be able to make it this hour, the next one. All right, so we're out here at the other former Kmart right now. This is the one that is currently Wyoming Department of Workforce Services. Looks like the sign on the building just says Wyoming Services, but either way, they moved over here from the old Montgomery Ward on East Pershing Boulevard, and this was a Sutherlands. And as you can see, right now, it's nothing like it used to be. When Sutherlands was here, you had the garden shop right here in the parking lot, along with the door to the inside. You also had the main doors, and above the main doors, you had that old-looking Kmart facade. They obviously had just repainted it and done TLC or whatever to it, like not much work. These days, not so much. You can see that when the Wyoming Department of Workforce Services was setting this up, they completely redid the front. I think the back might still kind of be a tease into Kmart, and we'll look at that here shortly, but we'll do that here in a minute. So you see this right here, that signboard? That's where Sutherland's sign used to be. I have a very sneaky suspicion that this probably was also where the Kmart sign was, but I haven't been able to find photos, so I can't say that for certain. Maybe someone else in Cheyenne can confirm or deny that. But yeah, let's continue. Oh, and before I forget, this right here is the Wyoming Workforce Services sign, the standalone one. They have a little bit of an electronic thing there. Looks like they have their main services, and then looks like apparently 3 other spots for other stuff. So I don't know if this building is entirely occupied. The one thing that I want to show from this angle before we take a look from the other side of the building is the Smart Sports. So this Smart Sports didn't used to be here. This used to be a whole bunch of other businesses, including a Payless shoe source. The photo that I found was from like right around the time Kmart closed, for at least when there were tenants here. So by that time, Payless was not in here anymore. Let's see, who else? There is a whole bunch of other businesses in here. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. But yeah, this is what it looks like today. It's pretty clear that Smart Sports has taken over the whole space. I gotta be honest, this hole I thought was accidental in the day when they were putting this fence up, but in hindsight, I'm pretty sure this is intentional. Definitely pretty sure. So here's a look over here. As you can see, they have a patio on this side of the building. And again, back here, you kind of have that cinder block and the downspouts in those specific positions where it screams Kmart. And I know other places do that, but like Kmart kind of just had that look to them. They've obviously done quite a bit of changing though. A lot of stuff just is not the same. We're actually gonna go back around this way. So this wall in the front of the building, it would have had those slotted up and down sections, that texture of a Kmart from that time. But obviously not anymore. They changed it a lot. Something I think is worth mentioning is that this Kmart did not replace the Persian Kmart. They were alive simultaneously. They started with the Persian Kmart, as I talked about in the documentary that I did recently, and they expanded to this location. But the next location that we're going to be headed to, that is where things get really, really weird. You'll understand in a minute if you haven't watched the documentary yet. All right, so we are going to be right on the line. I had to make a quick stop after I checked out that Kmart, and we're going to be close for if we make it. I think we'll make it, but it's going to be close. I might run. Man, I don't think my microphone probably picked it up. I don't know if it's picking it up now. You can hear frogs over there in the field where the golf course is. They're so noisy that for a moment I thought it was a fire alarm. The bus is right there. Made it just good timing. All right, so I need to go over here to the mall because frankly, there's a couple things I need to check up on, and apparently this wacky wavy inflatable man. Yes, there will be a video over on Optopolis Vault. We're at the third former Kmart here in Cheyenne. So this one replaced the other two Kmart stores. I went into more specifics in the deep dive, which I do encourage you to check out, the deep dive / documentary kind of video I did about this. So right now it's a former Hobby Lobby. There is another space that was slated to be Burlington, which you'll see there are still signs up around the property that show Burlington stuff, like the renderings. But as far as I can tell, Burlington, at least for the moment, is not coming because the permits have expired. So let's go ahead and take a look at this location. So I guess the first thing we could look at is the sign right here that has Hobby Lobby and Mattress Firm on it. I believe they used the same frame of the sign and just replaced the faces. I'm certain they have reused the poles. Obviously they got rid of the Kmart sign, so this is what's here now. And of course got the Mattress Firm. So there's a video I did a while back, I don't know if it's public still, but right over here in front of us there used to be a recycling center, and there is still the frame where the sign for the recycling center used to be. There's a bunch of blue recycle bins where you could take your plastics and metals and stuff and you know, not throw them in the normal dumpster. But they got rid of those a long time ago, and that included this location. Now, of course, looking at the front of the store now, there's not a lot of Kmart left. The front doors were right about where Hobby Lobby's front doors are, but they did not use that facade, as you probably will recall if you watched the deep dive. And they added this entry as well for another tenant, since Hobby Lobby didn't need all that space. And Hobby Lobby actually moved from another location that was a former Best and LaBelle's, but that's a topic for another day. So I've done videos of this portion before, as Spirit and everything else, but as you can see, Spirit Halloween was here a while back, I think 2019, and I want to say 2020. I'm kind of glad they moved because I hate the lighting in here. I don't know what it is, but it throws my cameras off. It makes the stabilization suck. But either way, you can see that those doors are open. Not much to see. I said this in the deep dive. There's still the garden shop area over here. So there's a look inside of the inner part, and then over here we had the outer part. God, this fence is even worse now. It looks like wonder if the wind got this fence. Wonder if it ripped it off like that. Probably. It's been really windy lately. But there's not too much to see over here. They did fix those gates, like I said, which was kind of a surprise to me. It's good they did, probably, because people don't need to be going back there. Remember one time I stumbled across one of those shopping wheelchair cart things in there, so it's probably good that they got it fenced off better. But so of course these bricks are obviously part of the former Kmart, so even though they added these bricks on the corners, the like tile-like brick thing going on here on the rest of it. The texture, even the general color, the white, is all a remnant of Kmart. They used to be white when Kmart was here, and they're still white now. This is a really subtle remnant of Kmart, but you can see where the curb used to be because of these lines. That's where it used to be. And then when Hobby Lobby came in, they moved it out and widened the sidewalk. Whoever did that, I'm so glad you did that. I wish Kmart had the sidewalk this wide. So they could have done what Hobby Lobby and Thornton did and just had the curb right up against the front of the building, but they didn't. So kudos to whoever designed this and did it right. So right here, we actually got another couple of remnants into the past. So first we got this curb. Now this curb curves around this way because when Kmart originally opened, you didn't have this place next to here. So this is a former Circuit City. I forget the build day is, you know, not as old as the Kmart, obviously. But we also have the other remnant, which is this. This used to be the stand that one of the stop signs was on. They had two of them just like this. It was mainly for the pedestrian crossing that went in front of the store of Kmart, that is. I don't know what happened to the one of them, but that one is still sitting there after all this time. It's kind of crazy. So now we're on the backside of this Kmart, and once again, as you can see, you have all these teases of Kmart. Like, I know it's a really subtle thing, but like all Kmarts kind of did this, where they have all the downspouts lining the backside along with the cinder block. Like, I don't know, I think you can see what I mean, where there's kind of a pattern there. Now, this part right here that we're looking at is a loading dock, obviously. This was not original, though. Hobby Lobby actually put this in when they were moving in here. So, yeah. And so far, there is a drain down there. So far from what I've seen, the thing has not been flooded, which is good, because I remember seeing the one over at the other location flooded all the time. And I do want to give a huge thank you to my channel members on both YouTube and Patreon that make these videos significantly easier. Host Optopolis here. There is one thing that I should have shown that I forgot to record when I recorded it, and it's that spot right there. So not too long ago, this spot that is now cinder blocked off, this was the spot where there was a door. We could actually see inside into the store from this door because of the windows in it, but they've completely bricked it over with those cinder blocks. So that is something interesting. Notice this too. Those doors are now shielded off, so like there's no coming in or going out of those doors now. This was the safe. Jesus Christ. I wish the camera was pointed the other way. Oh well. That guy right there screamed. It scared the crap out of me. And until next time, peace out, everyone.